Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name's Luke, and I'm excited to have first-time guest of the show, Chris Pierce, on the show. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Really great having you on the show. There's kind of two reasons why you're on the show today. One, you have a big fight coming up. You're an undefeated fighter, fighting an undefeated fighter at Raw on the Berg 16 for 247 Fighting Championships, April 15th at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. So that I would have you on regularly to talk about that as well. But you've also won your amateur MMA debut by knockout, and I would have been thrilled to have you on just to talk about that. So let's start off with you talking a little bit about what got you into training MMA, and then of course break down your impressive MMA debut for us.
All right. So, I wrestled in college. Not college, high school. And I went to the service. And I was over in South Korea, and I took Taekwondo, and then it just kind of skyrocketed from there. Just I wanted to see what else I could learn, how much I could learn, and how I could use it. I wanted to see it in practice, and I just decided to message random companies from where I was stationed at the time, and one of them eventually got back to me, and they offered me the opportunity to fight.
And that was actually in 2021. So what branch were you in? Thanks for your service. And where were you stationed when you actually had your debut fight?
I was in the Army, and I was stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I drove 11 hours into Kentucky.
I was just going to say, I see on Tapology that your fight for that organization was in Kentucky. Wow, 11 hours, you drove in. So break that down. I mean, obviously you're going out of your way, literally. You're already stationed. You're already an active Army. You get to the fight, and then obviously, I don't think it could have gone better for you. So how was that to win impressively as you did?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't even training at a gym at the time. I just trained myself in the backyard, just practiced what I knew, mastered my craft, and I just had a lot of good friends that let me beat the crap out of them. So they came with me, and I didn't know what to think. I was real nervous. I stepped inside, and right in the very beginning, he popped me with a jab. He was a tall guy, just like Zach that I'm about to fight, a little taller, skinnier guy. And he popped me in the face, and I said, man, this definitely isn't a wrestling match, and kind of shook me up a little bit. It was a lot of I would take him down and let him up. We stood and struck a little bit here and there, not a whole lot. And the knockout happened as I went for a takedown. He leaned in too far on an overhand, and my shoulder just collided with his jaw.
Hey, still a knockout, I guess. You could say that your shoulder knockout reminiscent, I guess, of Conor McGregor, showing how shoulders can be incredibly dangerous when he fought Cowboy Cerrone, which was a hard fight for me to watch because I really like Cowboy. And people afterwards kind of poo-pooed shoulder strikes, but they're very serious. And so that's cool. So what's been happening? There was this, you had a little bit of a break. That was 2021. I guess it was only about a year off. So what was happening in between there, and what made now a good time for you to get your second fight?
I don't know. I focused more on my job after that. It was fun. I didn't know if I wanted to continue to do it. I knew that I needed a lot more training. And then I ended up getting out of the Army this past October, and I moved back up to Pennsylvania, and joining martial arts opened up here in town. And now I've been training with a guy you just had on the show recently, Travis Leman.
Sure.
Longtime buddies. We train together along with his brother Tyler and our other friend Damon. Just train together all the time, and he said that he was interested in doing it, so I figured that I could crawl back in the octagon again.
Well, that's a great answer. I'm glad. Yeah, I just got to talk to Travis. He makes his debut, which has got to be exciting for him and you and the team, and you also being trained out of there now. You're not new to it. You've already fought once, but I'm sure it's exciting to have a kind of more structured team around you. I got to give a shout out to your friends a couple of years back. Like you said, your training partners were your friends that let you beat them up. Those are good friends that were willing to kind of not know what to do, but still give you experience. I'm sure it makes a big difference to be at a gym with real instruction. I know Travis was sharing about the gym kind of building up its members and its training and what it offers. So sounds like a kind of a perfect fit. You mentioned knowing your opponent a little bit. You said that, Zach Snyder, who actually works at Stout Pittsburgh, is known as the front desk sensei, which has got to be one of the more creative fight nicknames because he's the manager of the gym. You mentioned that, he's tall. What else do you know about him, and kind of how do you think you fare up against him? And let's talk kind of specific predictions, so to speak, for the fight coming up.
Honestly, I don't really know a whole lot about him. I know that he's tall and he's a little bit skinnier, which isn't anything new to me. The first guy I fought he was tall and skinnier. Now this is at a higher weight, so I'm going to be looking out for this guy's strength and his speed to see where he's at. Especially with him, I know his age is a bit higher than mine, so I want to see if he's just been training that hard for that long, or he's just late getting to the game.
Sure. Well, since you brought up age, you're 21, so you made your debut around 19, and so you do have some age to kind of figure this out. You had some time to kind of build up your amateur record. You mentioned not being sure if you wanted to get back into fighting. Have you made the decision that you're committed back now that you're back home and you found a gym? You're committed to fighting multiple more MMA fights, or is this kind of a dipping your toe back in the water and then you'll see what happens after this?
I would say that I'm hoping to make this more than just once in a while thing. But I mean, if life just doesn't fare out that way, then life doesn't fare out that way. But I am really hoping that I can. I'd say it depends on the outcome of this fight. If he wins, I'm just not going to stress about crawling back in right away. But I mean, who knows? I might feel a little big-headed, a little egotistical, and crawl back in if I win.
Sure. Well, I appreciate your honest answers. I think it's always smart in any sport, particularly combatant sports. It's such a one-on-one situation. You got to take it one thing at a time, and that's why it's cool that you've got a gym around you, not only for training but also for kind of helping you process whether it's a win or a loss. I think a lot of times people think when people win, it's kind of easy and it's clear, but a lot of times in a gym, you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do next when you do get a win, just like you would have to kind of figure out what you want to do depending on the outcome of the fight. So super, super exciting. You mentioned that it's at a heavier weight class. Your last fight a couple years ago appeared to be at 145. What's this weight class now? I would assume you've bulked up quite a bit in the last couple of years, so you're more comfortable with your strength to weight ratio at the current weight.
Well, to be honest, I want to continue fighting at 145 to maybe possibly cut down to 135. The guy that I was originally matched up with, we just couldn't get a response out of him, so they couldn't find any other contenders for me at 145. So I told him that I would opt in to move up if that was possible. So here we are.
So this is a 55-pound fight. You went up one division. Is that what happened? Or okay? Because I believe the last fight that your opponent Zach Snyder fought, I believe it was a catch weight at 160, which makes sense because it was his debut. And sometimes catch weights get thrown around to make people feel comfortable when they're making their debut. So that's cool. So it's one weight class up, but long term, if there is a long term, you still like 45 as a potential in the future. Well, that's why I like to ask about weight, because you never really know where somebody is thinking about it. So I've really enjoyed having you on the show. Congratulations for obviously, thanks again for your service, but congratulations on getting out of the military and transitioning back home and finding a gym. You've gone through a lot since you've discharged, I'm sure, and it's kind of nice that you're at this point. to be fighting for 247. I can't wait to be cage side. That 247 brawl in the Berg 16 is going to be an incredible show. Do you have like a friend group or family coming out for it? What do you think the fan reaction is going to be? I would assume you'll have more fans than when you fought 11 hours away from where you were living in Kentucky.
I know I might have a couple family members coming up, but it's mainly the people at the gym, which, to be honest, that's just like a family, you know, whether it's blood or not, you know. So honestly, them being there is going to be more than enough.
Well, that sounds very exciting. Best skills to you in your 247 Fighting Championship debut, even though you've already had a fight under your belt. Can't wait to see what happens. Brawl in the Berg 16 is going to be incredible. Reminding everybody to get tickets directly from fighters, from gyms, or from 247fighting.com. It's going to be an incredible night. Thanks so much, Chris Pierce, for coming on the show. Can't wait to see what happens April 15th.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Take care.